to you, the regular Joes.
To movies and toys and TV shows, comics and collecting and superheroes. There's no end to the useless stuff they know. But don't call them geeks, they're just regular Joes.
Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
And I'm Todd Pleasant.
I hope everyone enjoyed their May 4th, May the 4th. We're okay with that, right? Now, some people don't like it.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. It's a made-up holiday, but if it,
What isn't?
All holidays are.
Yeah, and I don't need an excuse to celebrate Star Wars, but I'll take it.
Yeah, it's good. I wish they had, it was funny. I guess it was it Friday night? Friday night, TNT started showing their stuff, their movies. And,
Yes.
they show the marathon. They have a marathon of Star Wars, which I don't watch anyway because I don't like watching them on television with commercials. But I think there was supposed to be a hockey game, a playoff game that didn't happen. So they start, and I'm like, oh, Star Wars, let's see. They started with The Last Jedi. I'm like,
Yeah, it was out of order for sure.
we don't watch that in this house. And I've had to say that there's several things we don't watch in this house. Last Jedi, the third X-Men, the third Spider-Man.
Third X-Men, probably the third Alien film.
Well, that's...
But
I'm
that one
usually
doesn't
saying
show
this
up
to
on
No, but
Pam
I'm
TV
saying,
very
why would you
often.
ever watch it? Is what I'm saying. But
Pam, those are what Pam will watch those. I'm like, we don't watch the... it's always a fight. There's something else we don't watch. I don't know. I have rules. You know me.
We were talking at dinner tonight, Joshua and I, and we were talking about the Acolyte trailer, which I know we're going to talk about in a bit. And he was saying how he's, he goes into these things cautiously optimistic now. And I just said to him, Josh, other than The Last Jedi, there really hasn't been any bad Star Wars, so we'll be okay. Because it's like
From
pizza.
the studio, okay, we're not talking about the Acolyte, but the credits are from the studio that brought you The Mandalorian,
Andor, and
Ahsoka, and that's it. No Book of Boba Fett in there.
well, there's
Well,
no
but they went
Kenobi in
for
there
the-
either.
They went for the I thought they were just going for the three most recent, but maybe not.
Yeah, why no Obi-Wan?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's not for today's discussion, but they're not all gems.
Yeah, I came down the stairs yesterday, and Maria had turned the TV on. So she didn't specifically tune to The Last Jedi, but it was on from the day before on that channel. So I walked in the room and they were on Canto Bight, and I'm just like, are you watching this crap? But she's like, no, I just turned the TV on. I'm like, okay. Because
We don't do that in this house.
We don't do that in this house. Very similar to what's going on over in the Pisani house, yes.
And I wish I last week or whenever I said I bought the new TV to get rid of the old LG, and the front of the LG is made of glass, and that TV probably weighs 180 pounds, unlike a new 55-inch TV that weighs 8 pounds.
Right.
I wish I had the Last Jedi so I could throw a sledgehammer through it. I'm sorry I missed that opportunity, but the HDMI inputs don't work anyway. So, but. It's now sitting. It was sitting out in the rain all day yesterday.
You could have cast to it from your phone. You could have cast The Last Jedi from your Disney Plus app.
I don't know if it did that. It's not smart, that TV.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the reasons it's out there. But anyway, let's go some random. Todd, what do you got?
I was going to talk about the Superman costume.
Let's do it.
So, there's a picture of a Superman costume. So, it's very, I don't know, a little CGI looking. It's not bad. I think you can, if you look at it close, you can see that he's got the shorts on. So the shorts.
That's what people were saying. It looks like he has the shorts. I know
The shorts are back.
you need the shorts. I think.
It just, yeah. I think you kind of do.
It's classic.
It is classic.
It is it is a little thick looking. Which
It's a little thick looking, but it's
I don't
also
think it needs to be.
the stand up collar is interesting because they've done that.
It's a little high.
They've done that a couple times in the comics, but
He's sitting in the picture, so it's hard to tell how it'll look when he's fully standing upright.
Yeah, it definitely looks more futuristic and more spacey and more, it's alien. I mean, they got to modernize this. This was originally based on a trapeze artist costume. Okay, that's what it was based on, and that's where they got the idea. So, it's got to evolve and change or whatever. I think
there's no way you're not getting away with a smooth costume.
That's what I'm saying.
Anymore, because we're so used to seeing texture and dimension to this stuff.
Yeah.
So,
if you look at the original Superman movie, it is amazingly faithful to the comics. Okay, I mean, right down to the belt buckle. I mean, it's just like it is exactly the way Kurt Swan drew it for 30 years. But you can't do that anymore. It's a different world. It's a different time. He looks very Superman. He really does. And I have a good feeling about
I don't
this.
love the collar. Yeah, the collar, even in the back of the cape, the collar comes up really high.
They did that in the comics for a while, and yeah.
I just feel like James Gunn knows what's at stake here. Like, he's basically staking the entire DC film franchise on this, bringing this movie out. I don't think he's gonna.
And the whole world is scrutinizing him.
Yeah, but I don't think that he's gonna let it get screwed up.
His source material is really good, and I think it's what he's talking about is one of the best Superman stories. I think it's if you can make Superman, I almost said fly. If you can make Superman fly in this day and age, he's the one who can do it, and it's going to be a slightly different character. We're going to see some changes, but I think I'm excited for this, and
that'd be good. I'm fine with that.
I don't think we can judge the entire movie on a single frame.
Oh no! It's
image.
just it could have also been off-putting. So, and it's not. And I kind of like the imagery of like him putting his boots on. It's like, okay, it's time to go to work. And,
But he's all there's burn marks on him. He's definitely done something.
Well, and something's going on out that window. I mean,
Yeah.
clearly.
And he's like, "Oh, I got a piece of kryptonite in my boot. I got to take it out." And
you
put
think
it back
like
on.
he's done for the day?
Maybe he's taking them off.
This could just
Who
be
knows?
like, okay, I'm done.
Superman takes off his boots just like us, one foot at a time.
1 foot at a time. Yep.
So, cool.
yeah.
Barry, what do you got?
I don't know anything about this other than the title and the clip they released, but do you guys know anything about Megalopolis?
Yeah, it's going to be
That's a
interesting.
Coppola thing?
Did you see the clip?
No.
They released, I mean, I can't even call it I guess it's a teaser. It's Adam Driver, and he walks out of a window or a door onto a roof, and he almost falls off, and then he stops time, and he doesn't fall, and that's the end of the clip. So
I don't know anything. I know the title, and I know Coppola's doing it.
I know that Coppola self-funded this. He has no backing from a studio on it, so he's got a lot to lose.
Ever expressed interest in science fiction before?
No, I mean, I to my knowledge, he actually
Time travel a little.
discouraged Lucas from doing space movies.
I know that. That's what I'm saying. And this is where, and you put him, I mean, he's in that same group with, that his peers, Lucas and Spielberg and all those guys who were
Brian De Palma, that whole group.
Yeah. And he seems like the least of them to ever have put a toe in that water. But to do it to the degree that you self-fund at this late
He
in his
sells
career,
funds and goes bankrupt all the time. That was his thing.
I don't know. I
Not a
hadn't
great
even
model.
heard anything about it. I didn't even know who was in it.
I've
and
heard
then-
a couple things about it periodically, and it's an original property. It's be interesting. I don't know how you get.
Epic science fiction, written, directed, produced by Francis Ford Coppola.
I don't know how
What?
you get an audience for something like this at this point. Because, like I said, he's not he's not a name that you associate with
no.
it's just
There's a lot.
Well-
Even I'm reading the description. It seems very involved.
But if you put the Kylo Ren of it all aside, Adam Driver is a decent actor. So, could be good. Francis Ford Coppola knew how to make a good movie at one point. So,
he did. He absolutely.
I'm
did.
going to read you the first 2 lines of this. The city of New Rome must change, causing conflict between Caesar Catalina, a genius artist who seeks to leap into a utopian idealistic future, and his opposition, Mayor Franklin Cicero, Giancarlo Esposito, who remains committed to a regressive status quo. Okay.
oh no, what did he do?
Snorefest.
It's Trade Federation and blockades.
What he's probably done is taken the Roman Empire and put it in a sci-fi movie.
Yeah, it sounds like it with these names.
Oh, it comes out this weekend. Next weekend.
Really? And the
May
only thing they've
17th.
released, and
It
all
says
they've released
initial
is
release.
a clip.
Maybe that's not here.
Oh gosh, I can't imagine that all they've given us is a 30-second teaser, and it's coming out next weekend.
$120 million budget. When opening the winning opening, weekend is $30 million.
Right. With
That's
and its only competition was a 25-year-old re-release of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And Marvel's lost $270 million. The Marvels,
Right.
It's like
I mean, The Phantom Menace made $8.1 million
saw
this
that,
weekend
yeah.
on a re-release. So
Yeah. It's tough. Movie business is tough these days. So Cobra Kai, they're doing this the last season, and they're going to split it into 3 parts. They're going to release, I don't know exactly how many.
I think
There's
it's 15 episodes, so it's
15
5, 5, and
total.
5. Yeah.
And there's going to be one release, then a couple months or so later, another release, and then another release, which I find
so.
odd.
How many episodes have been in a typical season?
Not 8 or 10, maybe? 8, 10, maybe? I don't know.
I think 10.
I think they're. My guess is they're probably trying to get to the movie that I think is shooting now. So it's the
Yeah.
what's his face? Ralph Macchio and who's the dude? The
Not
martial
Billy
artist
Zabka.
guy.
Not Billy Zabka.
No. It's the guy. Was it the guy who was in the remake of
I don't
Karate
know.
Kid?
I'm not following it close enough to know.
That's hang on. That is what's I think filming now. So that's a movie that's coming out.
I don't like it when they break these things up into 2 parts, let alone 3.
Oh, that's coming out this year.
Like Todd, the example that I would point to was
Jackie Chan. I'm sorry, I couldn't remember Jackie Chan.
the Invincible season.
Yes.
How they broke it in half. It kind of lost momentum. I mean, both halves were great, but I would have rather watched them consecutively.
I agree.
I'm not saying I need them all dropped at once and I don't have to binge it, but don't make me wait months in between the first half and the second half.
I have not watched the second half yet. I've had a bunch of other things come out, and I want to go back and watch the last episode of and I'll do that. I'll do that soon. I think I'm paring down the list, but
It was very good, so you'll enjoy
and I knew it would
but-
be, and it was the kind of thing that it's also one of these things where like I know it's a variation on a story I know, or derivation
Right.
of a story I know. So it's like there's not a huge like, oh my god, what are they going to do next kind of thing. So, and I know I'm going to love it no matter what. So things like Bad Batch and X-Men 97 and things like that have gotten in front of it. So,
Back to Cobra Kai for a second, not to beat a topic, but First part comes out in July, second part comes out in November, and then the third part is 2025, yet the movie that he's in comes out in December.
And is
Maybe
the
it's all
movie
tied
tied
together.
into the storyline of the series?
Don't know.
And what
Maybe the
season is
last
this?
5 episodes wrap up the story from the movie?
It's him and it's Jackie Chan.
Yep. And what season is the fractured
it
3-part?
5?
5.
Season
6.
5?
6.
6.
It's been fun. I mean, it's not anything great, but it's been fun.
It started to feel a little repetitive, but I agree with you. It's fun.
I watched the first season, and I never went back. And I liked it. It was fine. It just did everything I needed it to do. So
Yeah, it's fun. Ty, you got anything else?
I was gonna, the one other thing I had was there's this kind of sort of Ben Affleck reportedly has met with Kevin Feige about a Marvel movie role, and it's not Daredevil. Of course, it's not.
That's
fucking
too bad.
Daredevil. Okay?
Yeah.
It should
Okay.
be.
It's like, really, seriously. There
What
is
if
one
I wonder
true
if he shows up
Daredevil
in
in the Marvel
Deadpool?
universe.
Think you show up in Deadpool as Daredevil? I'd love to see that.
I mean, if Jennifer Garner shows up as Elektra, why not?
How funny would that be? And Jennifer Lopez is like Disco Dazzler or whatever, or something.
There are rumors that Taylor Swift is going to show up in that movie.
But
Yeah.
Anything could happen.
I don't see
Anything
this.
could
She's not
happen.
going to want her fans seeing that movie.
Well, I now we're going really off book here, but I read an article the other day that there are parents that are upset because there's a lot of cursing on her new album and it's not appropriate for kids.
That's what I'm saying. Is this cursing? They need to curse in songs? Was it Linkin Park? Or
It's gangster rap. It's
Gangster
gangster
rap?
rap Taylor style. Taylor's version of gangster rap.
yeah, that's weird.
I don't know. Do we want to talk about Discovery at all, or do we just want to
No.
shine it on? And
No,
Yeah, let's just
I
do
didn't
it.
even
Let's
watch
do
it.
it quick. Okay.
No, I didn't,
Dave,
I didn't,
block
I didn't
yours.
even
Dave,
watch
block
it this
yours.
season. Wait, why would you talk about this every week?
Because it's the long march to the end. Okay.
No, it's not even worth it.
the only reason
Barry,
I
go.
was gonna, I just was gonna bring it up because it so feels heavy-handed that they're setting up Tilly for this Academy
It
show.
totally
I just see the promo with the picture of Tilly in that Jedi robe and her weird hair. I can't even bring myself to watch it.
Oh, you haven't watched it yet?
No.
Okay.
We're not spoiling anything. It wasn't good.
Then why would we talk about it? We
Okay,
don't talk
but
about good shows
it's the-
every week.
It's I tell you, it was so predictable, and it's like it's almost to the point where when the mission of the week comes up, and you just wait for the moment when saying Burnham's going to say I'm going, and then it's just like every week they come up with a reason for her to pick somebody else to go off with, and. You know,
Tilly's not even supposed to be there. She's supposed to be at the Academy, yet they put her on this mission. And I think it's purely just to set up this storyline where she's basically saying cadets aren't happy and they all want to leave the Academy. And like, okay, great. So you know what they need. They need a special kind of teacher, and it's going to be you. Great, go. Like,
yeah. She's,
I won't
in
even go
interviews,
into
she
my
said
thoughts
she
on the
doesn't
rest
know
of the
if she's going to
episode.
be in that show or not. Yeah, I she is not somebody you can hang a series in the back of.
no.
So
She's also not a character that probably should be running relay races and getting all sweaty on camera. Just saying.
yeah, I yeah, it just wasn't good.
Nope.
You know who's
okay.
good? Fanboy Collectibles. Were you done, Todd? I don't know what else you want to say about this.
I was going to say this could have been a next generation script. It could have been, and they would have done some things differently. But this is, that's what they're trying to do. They're going. Oh, we did a bunch of these things before, where you've got the little morality thing in there, and you've got at the last minute we save with we do the save and we violate the Prime Directive, and it's just. Like I said, it's just so tired. It's just time to
You
put
can
it-
skip this one, Dave. They don't even show you them getting the artifact.
It's
so
it's
you
time.
can skip this
It's
one.
time to put it down.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You know
I
where you
w-
should put your money down? Fanboy Collectibles.
I was just going to make a broad prediction that If this Academy show is hung on the back of the Tilly character, I will not watch it. Okay, go to Fanboy Collectible.
You know who's going to watch action figures and statues? Fanboy
I'm sorry,
Collectibles?
Troy. We've butchered the commercial.
Just trying to get us out of things we shouldn't be talking about. Okay. Iron Studios, Deadpool and Wolverine and Ben Affleck Daredevil statue. No Daredevil.
No Ben Affleck
there's a
in
statue. There's Iron Studios, more statues. Rogue One statue. All that stuff is up for pre-order. You know what they got? They got Pops, and they got Sideshow, and they got Hot Toys, and they got Hasbro stuff, and they've got Kotobukiya stuff, and they've got So Toys, to mention something different. They got everything you need.
There's a Plastic Man statue. That looks amazing.
That does look
Plastic
cool.
Man.
I got to say that
How come we never see Plastic Man?
you just
in the movies?
never see Plastic Man. Plastic Man is like a fourth tier character. They've tried to elevate a couple of times, but he's actually a really good character. But
There you go.
But
get a statue of him. So check those guys out. Todd, did you have something
I was just going to say
about
that
Discovery?
Daredevil and Wolverine statue is just awesome. It just
You mean Deadpool?
you said Daredevil.
You
before.
said you said
And
Ben
you got
Affleck.
it stuck in my head. No, you got it
Daredevil.
stuck in my head. The Deadpool Wolverine statue is just freaking awesome. I love the dog with the Deadpool mask. Yeah, very
It
cool.
looks really cool.
Yeah.
There'll be plenty of Deadpool stuff coming up, so check those guys out. FanboyCollectibles.com. Check them out at their store, Newtown, Connecticut. Tell them the regular Joe sent you. Acolyte trailer. Let's go with that quickly, because there's a lot.
I think it's worth talking about. I mean, they released a teaser a week or two ago, and now there's a full trailer. The official description of this show is a mystery thriller that will take viewers into a galaxy of shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers in the final days of the High Republic era. And this show is set 100 years before the Skywalker saga. It feels
Star Warsy to me. Is that what you're going to say?
I was going to say
very
it feels Star Warsy. It also doesn't feel like 100 years before the Skywalker saga, but I get the Empire, things start to go downhill.
Yeah, but it's not like 100 years like us 100 years ago. We were still driving horses. There was still space and stuff. So 100 years is not that much time for technology, I don't think. I mean,
It depends on the level of technology. 100 years from 1900 to 1950 are huge. 100 years from 1950 to 2000 are not as prominent.
that's what. And in a galaxy where there was probably space travel 500
they already
years
had
ago.
space travel, so it's not.
And that's
you're
what I'm
right.
saying. So it's just
Yeah,
so
so-
the ships are a little different. Yeah. And again, we're talking.
I think
about
it's more about
essentially-
let's just get it away from all this other stuff.
essentially
which
I
is
think it's that,
fine.
and I think it's been so long since anybody even thought of a Sith being around that when this character shows up, they don't know what the hell they're dealing with.
Yeah. Now, we saw spoilers on the trailer, although you can't spoil a trailer from what I've been told. We see a guy at the end. Is that like Darth Plagueis?
Yeah.
Guy looks like a gimp. He's wearing a gimp mask, kind of.
Gimp. He's the Gimp.
I mean, it literally looked like a zipper.
It's a little
I think
Kylo
that's supposed
Ren
to be a little
slash
teeth.
Gimp.
That's yeah.
Yeah, I think they're metal teeth, but it just you see so little of it. My only visual reference was gimp mask, but maybe not.
Fair enough.
I also, and this is me nitpicking Star Wars.
Wow.
The hairstyles on these characters seemed a little too modern.
Oh yeah, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying I
I
think
did notice hair in this.
I think you've got a bunch of a very racially balanced cast of young people that are meant to appeal to a certain demographic, and I think that's exactly what's happening here. And I think they're showing other stuff in the, they're highlighting some other stuff, but I think this is going to be, Hunger Games, Star Wars. So we'll see.
I just hope that I'm okay if there's some of that as long as it doesn't overtake the story. I mean, we've got Carrie-Anne Moss in there, who I have high hopes that she's going to be kick-ass.
Yeah, and there's that other main character who's not super young. I guess
Yeah,
the
the
one
guy
who trained
from
girl.
and the guy from Squid Game is in there too.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I'm looking at it and I'm like, ooh, this feels Star Wars. This feels like old Star Wars, but just in a modern sort of
Well,
technology.
and we're seeing Coruscant, which is familiar. So, it wasn't entirely foreign, I think.
No.
So-
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go into all
and
of
if
these
they
with
do
high
something,
hopes.
I hope they do something with the other older characters other than just being, kind of there.
I feel like Carrie Ann Moss is the lead in this thing.
Yeah, I
Whether
don't think
that's
that's
true
going to
or
be the
not-
case. I think she's going to be Obi-Wan Trinity, and I think she's going to have a lesser role than it looks. But we'll see.
We'll see.
There's a lot of characters.
So-
There's a lot of characters in this.
There are a lot of characters, but we don't know how quickly.
I really feel like this is going to lean in heavily on those younger characters, and this is where you've got to do that. This is where you got to bring another generation into Star Wars, because right now you have to know too much stuff.
And I think what I'm taking from the trailer is that there are clearly the young characters. I think that there's a sort of set of middle-aged characters where I think that's where the focus is going to be. That's what I'm taking away from it.
And I think exactly the opposite.
Right.
I think those are the framing characters. This is going to be a story about the younger characters, and I think it's probably a good move. I'm not sure it's going to be particularly interesting to me, but I think, like I said, you need approachable Star Wars for people to come in and not feel like, like they have to know every existing character and they have to know all these other things. This could be done right, an introduction to Star Wars for a whole other generation. And they've stepped up to the plate for that a couple times and failed. So we'll see.
I would just be surprised if their next two shows were both centered around younger characters, because we know the Skeleton Crew is centered around.
That's even younger
characters.
though, right?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I'm saying like 20-somethings is what this is going to. This is
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
As long as they do a good job of character building, which that's what it all comes down to. I mean, love or hate Force Awakens and stuff, you really got a good sense of Finn, you got a good sense of Rey, you got a good sense of Poe Dameron. I just, some of these shows don't do that.
Well, and we've talked about it a million times, but that was where I thought the biggest problem with the Ahsoka show was that the average person needed to know too much about Rebels.
And that's what
to
I'm saying, Barry.
Fully
I'm saying
understand
this is
it.
a
You don't
potential.
have that here.
Yeah.
But that's the hard thing about having. If again, we're seeing a lot of people, we're seeing a lot of Jedi, and you go back. Let's go back to Discovery. Like, there's a lot of people on that bridge, and when they get one line, and we know nothing about them really.
But they also tell us in this trailer that Jedi are being killed. So what if all those Jedi we see? What if half of them are wiped out early?
All right, then
and
that's fine.
Then it's a show about a smaller group of characters. I don't know.
But
Yeah, I think
we
the
gotta
Jedi
build
getting
these
taken out are the
people.
ones you don't see, but we'll see. It's going to be new. It's new Star Wars. It's going to be interesting to see. I'm definitely. Of course, I'm going to watch it. We're all going to watch it, but it's we'll see. I'm really
speaking
eager
of-
to see them
go
do
ahead.
something different, and this, one way or another, is going to be something different. I think they've put so much effort into shoehorning stories into an existing framework that going back 100 years is not a bad idea. It worked a whole lot better than we expected with Game of Thrones. So,
No, that's true. I was just going to say, speaking of Skeleton Crew, John Watts was interviewed this week, and he said a few things which are very encouraging. He said, "I got to use all the cool stuff on my most recent Star Wars show. We had previs, mocap, we shot on the volume, we did everything. But the most fun part was we used all the old school techniques as well. We got Phil Tippett to do stop motion.
Oh, I heard
we
that,
did
yeah.
matte paintings, like real old-fashioned style matte paintings. We got an ILM painter out of retirement to come and do that. So he said, so to me, that's all the fun, but it's all just more tools, and it depends on how you use them. So
as long as it's tools and not just the focus.
and
Right.
when is that supposed to be, Barry?
they haven't officially announced, but I'm hearing end of the year, like December.
And this is the same guy who did all the Spider-Man movies.
Yes.
Those have all been good. So,
I do love some Phil Tippett stop motion animation, so
Yeah.
high hopes for that.
Interesting.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Do you guys want to go into Bad Batch?
Yeah.
Yeah, we might
Go
as well
to the
finish off
bathroom?
on Star Wars. Yeah, you can go to the bathroom and we'll talk about it. Todd, you want to start?
No, you can go. I mean, I'd just say I'm very happy with it. And I like the progression of the characters. I got vested in these characters in a way I never imagined I would. And, I think it was a very satisfying ending. I don't think it was anything unexpected happened.
They wrapped it all up neatly, which was good. They had a lot to wrap up. I'm glad it was an extra long episode. It's 50 minutes instead of their usual 22, which it needed to be. I don't think they could have gotten everything that they got in there without it really extending the time, which was great. I don't really feel like they left a lot of loose ends, which was good. I mean, maybe there's a handful, but for the most part, they wrapped everything up, and they didn't bring back characters that we believed to be dead, which was really important.
One of the group was killed 2 seasons back, right? 2 seasons back?
Last season.
It was last season.
Yeah, I think it was last season.
Okay. And I was actually worried they were going to cheapen his death by,
Well, they had these 4, super clones, and their helmets kept almost coming off, and I was just waiting for one of them to be revealed as being Tech, but I'm glad that they didn't go there.
Yeah. I agree. And again, they were all, this was a cool thing about this is like, we got in the animated series, we got clones that we came to know and had some degree of uniqueness, but not like these. These were all basically rejects that were, and they were each very, very different, and they each had a skill set that worked perfectly with what they needed to do. And you knew it was going to happen. I mean, one of them broke bad and eventually was brought back into the fold in the most unexpected way, and I think...
But not welcomed with open arms.
No,
and
never fully trusted again.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And that's what I really liked about Bear. It was like, it wasn't like, okay, all's forgiven. It's like, she trusts you and we're going with that, but we're not fully trusting you. And I will also say, one of the best juvenile characters in these shows.
Oh yeah. She, we learned to love Ahsoka.
Yep.
But she didn't start off
on
the best foot, and Omega started off from the beginning
much better,
as likable, but became lovable by the end of it.
Yes, that's actually a really good way of putting it. Likable went from likable to lovable, and I'll also say that it's a little bit of a spoiler. There's an epilogue that is a time jump. I don't think they've ever done that before. Have they ever done that before? I mean, they did. They did it a
little bit with Rebels, but not as far into the future.
And just a little bit at the end of Clone Wars, right?
Right. Yep.
But this felt good. This puts you in a spot where, if you never know where she goes from here, you know where she goes from here. It's like it's you know her role, her next role. Right. And it was a predictable place for her to go, and but it also felt right.
All right, so let me blow your mind for a second.
Yeah.
We've been hearing that the Patty Jenkins Rogue Squadron movie's back on. What if Omega shows up there?
Oh, that would be phenomenal. That would be fantastic. I would love to see her cast in live action and show up as a character that doesn't have to be the lead. But what to
just
expect.
Even as a cameo in that would be the payoff for all of this.
That would be great. But there's also there's a whole series of shows that she could be in if she survives that conflict. So
right.
And she would only be, that much older. But like I said, I think it's great. The other thing that the show demonstrated really well is that, it humanized the clones even further. Okay. So even the other clones who were not in the Bad Batch, okay, fell on one line or another. I mean, they all got to making decisions whether they were going to, ally themselves with the Empire, whether they were just going to say no and they were pushed back. And all of this was unexpected, but you saw it happen. We saw this happen in real time, where these beings exceeded their programming, if you want to say that. It's
well,
like,
and if you think about it, all the way back to the very beginning of the Clone Wars animated show, we've been following some of these characters now through 3 series.
Who are more individuals than the individuals in the white stormtrooper outfits.
Right, exactly.
Anyway.
No, it's great. If anybody's listening like Dave that hasn't given this a try, it's a really well done show. It's only 3 seasons and it's done. This was the series finale, but they stuck the landing in a big way.
Yeah, again, good follow up to Clone Wars and and the other animated stuff, Rebels, and just very, very good. So and some familiar character cameos and but yeah, very, very, very pleased with it. So I'm really glad you encouraged me to get back into it.
No, I knew you'd like it. You just had to give it a chance.
So. Oh yeah. So and and that was Bad Batch. So
cool. I watched the first couple. Maybe I'll give it a chance when I get time. I'm glad you guys liked it.
Yes.
There's me. I'm very optimistic.
Like I said, some good, very good stuff in there.
Dave Filoni hasn't disappointed me yet. So.
Yeah. So.
Okay, switching gears. I want to talk a little about collecting, as I mentioned to the guys. They didn't know. So, and it's funny. We've had this discussion amongst ourselves. We've had the discussion with the other regular Joe's guys, Daryl and Brian. And I just had lunch with someone who we're all in a similar age range, and you're getting your collection, and what do you do with your stuff? And one of our friends of the show, Whitey, did you see the picture he posted? He posted a picture of a dumpster and said every collector's nightmare, and that I'm like, because I guess you've seen the picture, and we should put up pictures of our collecting rooms. We haven't done that in a long time. We'll put those on Instagram. Maybe we'll do. And we
can also we can actually update on the website. I have galleries, and we could do if we want to do. Let's do then and now, because some of this shit's gotten out of control.
Yeah,
and a lot of it's changed over time.
Instagram's good because it's very accessible.
No, but I'm saying we put
them
the
on
same
the
pictures
website
up.
too.
We put the same pictures up, and they're permanent. But,
yeah, but we should show our collecting rooms. So anyway, we were just talking about this before the show. I've sort of made the vow that I'm not really buying anything that I will not display. In the old days, you used to just buy, and then you'd put it away, and you didn't do. And then Todd and I have done, whether if you're a new listener, the regular Joes grew out of a photo comic strip we used to do for the G.I. Joe Club that was action figures, taking pictures stuff. And we accumulate, and that was the second one of those we did. We did another thing in a magazine called Aesop, and we accumulated a ton of stuff, a ridiculous amount of stuff. So my attic has been a disaster. It's one of those things that's on my list to do and organize. And I've been in this house 18 years. There's stuff in boxes that came from the house before that I haven't looked at. So anyway, I've really, and I was telling Barry before the show, I've been up there 3 weekends, and I have made a ton of progress. So opening boxes, putting stuff to donate, putting stuff to sell, throwing stuff out. It's not only action figures and stuff, but it's cathartic because
I think the thing to think about is there's collecting and there's accumulating, and you need to find what that line is between the two.
Well, but a lot of that stuff you were accumulating for a purpose. But now that purpose
is behind
doesn't
you.
exist anymore.
Right. But I do think if we accumulated X for that purpose, I probably had 3X of stuff.
Oh, I agree. And it's
120 1/6 scale action figures that weren't even like collectible ones. They were just ones we accumulated wherever we got them. We knew a guy who owned a store, and we'd go and we'd buy, give me 10 of those and this and this and this, and we just keep buying stuff.
Yeah.
I just sold on Facebook to a guy not all that stuff, a lot of that stuff.
Tell us in weight.
That's what I said. It was 60 pounds of stuff. I broke it between two boxes. It was actually 70 pounds.
Yeah.
The pirate ship thing, thank you, Barry, was 35 pounds each. So it was action figures, which are heavy, so I broke those up. Action figures, 1/6 scale guns, boots, hats, stuff, animals, like 60 pounds of stuff.
And you
I
took
sold
all
to
of
this
it.
guy.
You didn't need to break out a list of everything. It was just mass.
No,
right? Yeah,
no,
okay,
no.
good.
I had listed a couple of lots on Facebook with here's an action figure. Here's 20 action figures. And this guy called me up and was like, I want everything. If you got other stuff, let me know. So I went and I photographed. Remember the old, again, if you haven't gone to the conventions, there used to be the mosh pit.
Yep.
In the conventions, guys would just put this giant pile. It was like this pile. Some of the pictures were just this pile on I literally have a table in my attic, which is unfinished, to take pictures of stuff.
Give me this guy's contact information, because I'm gonna. Yeah, I got to do the same thing.
Because it was just tons of stuff.
Bulk. Yeah.
Anyway, but then okay. So now I'm at the point where I'm separating the stuff I will still keep from stuff that, like, what do you keep and what don't you keep? Now, an interesting thing is, as collectors, and we have a lot of Hot Toys and we have master replicas and all that shit. I've got all those boxes, but I literally have the box to every single thing, everything.
Yeah.
Do you keep that stuff? What boxes do you keep and don't you keep?
So
Are you asking us, or are you
I'm
asking
asking
the
you
audience?
guys.
Okay.
So every Hot Toys figure, every comparable figure, I save those. You've seen that. I've got shelves and shelves of boxes.
I do too. I have the same thing. Yes,
Okay.
and that makes sense.
And then I will look at prop replicas. I will basically say, is this something I would ever sell? And then I keep the box. If it's something like a Batarang that I'm never going to sell, that goes. But I do look at those are the things where it's like there is no point of something I'm just never going to sell. But like like a replica gun or something like the blaster from Blade Runner. Okay, you keep the box for that because that's going to be
okay. Good. I thought you were throwing that away. You need the box for that.
You need the box for that, and that's what I'm saying. Or you guys,
What
will,
about-
you guys
can I
will
give you
someday
some-
need the box for that.
What about all the Batmobiles? Like, remember we bought the big one that's this big? Did you buy that?
Which
It's over there.
Hot Wheels one, the big Hot Wheels one.
Hot Wheels, but it's like this big.
Okay, I have that Batmobile, and I did not save the box.
Okay.
I have the box.
So-
What about
I have the
Shakespeare's bust? Do you have that box?
no. Oh,
I have that box.
do I have that?
What about
No, I did not keep that.
What about all the Eagle Moss?
The Eagle
small-
Moss ones I have.
The small ones?
What's that?
The small Eagle Moss boxes?
The small Eagle, the plastic bubble
Yeah.
boxes.
You have to keep those
I have
because there's
those,
no other way to store that stuff.
but I have those on.
Well, the whole idea I'm
I
not
have most
storing
of those on
anything.
display. But Barry, I have every. I think I have all but like 4 of the Batman ones, and there were like 112 of those, 115 of those. So, yeah, and I have about half of those on display. So yeah, those are there's 3 totes of just those things. But
Well,
just like
so
those-
I've got about 125 Hot Toys
Yep,
figures,
likewise.
mostly Hot Toys, a couple Sideshow, a couple of other various brands. I have the box to every one of those in my house.
Those you have to keep because
Those you
I
have
have
to.
to keep those.
you don't keep the you don't put all the
and
accessories
the
out.
other
right.
thing I will say is,
And the boxes they are very
But
sellable.
even more.
We're fortunate that we have space for that.
Yeah, but even more than that is statues. Okay, because you can't
Statue boxes.
You can't sell resell a statue without the box because you can't
can't ship it.
You
Yeah.
can't ship that thing. So
and you can't and it does people want the box.
so
And
I have a
I have 3 premium format statues, and those boxes are enormous.
so my statue boxes are the only thing in one of I have 4 4 different crawl spaces and eaves, and the statue boxes are the only thing in one of those crawl spaces. It's just statue boxes. And because some of them are huge. I've got those like big 16, 18-inch tall Batman boxes, statues. Those boxes are like 24 inches by 20 inches.
The thing that takes up the most space for me, other than the Hot Toys boxes, are the Master Replicas boxes.
Yeah.
And Dave, I know you have a bunch. I have a lot more than you do. And I
have all that. They're all that stuff is behind shelves.
I've got the AT-AT replica. The box for that is you can put a human being in it. That's that big.
Yeah.
And then I've got some of the blasters, like the Stormtrooper blaster, the Rebel blaster. Those boxes are really big. I've got the Snowspeeder replica. The boxes for that are really big. I've got those Code 3 die-cast vehicles. Those come with 2 big boxes, one for the vehicle and one for the display case. Those are the things that are taking up my entire attic.
Well, that's the proton pack and is the size of like an army
Foot
Locker.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the Tomy thing, yeah.
Let me ask you this. So you buy an electronic object. How long do you keep the box?
I don't anymore.
There was a very long time that up in my attic.
I've been in your attic.
I
know.
And you've seen it. I kept every.
I know you did.
had. There was a point. The last clean out was maybe 8 years ago. That every single box up there, including 50-inch television boxes. I didn't own any of the electronics anymore, but all the boxes were still up there.
I never keep that stuff.
I'm now in like 90 days on that stuff. And like the
You want to know how many days are? The new TV that I bought, that I talked about last week, I installed it yesterday. I put the box out last night.
Yep.
I don't.
You got to run it. You got to run it for 30 days anyways to be sure that you're not taking it back.
I threw caution to the wind.
Okay.
Because most of the time they're like.
Do you have the box in your 3D printer?
The new one, I just threw the old one out yesterday. We have bulk pickup this week, so I just put the old one out.
I'm not gonna store that box. I'm gonna get rid of after.
I've had that.
After 90
I
days.
would get, but I do plan on getting rid of like, I don't know what those things are. They're not pops. They're the little. I don't know if you can see them right here. These things. I'm gonna get rid of those boxes. I'm gonna get rid of the Shakespeare box. I probably will get any of the Eagle Moss, at least the small ones that I'm displaying. I may throw those away. That's one of the next waves of. Yeah, I got to get rid of these.
The Shakespeare
empty boxes.
box. I think it never made it to the basement. I think it was just like, it's.
You're not selling that.
No,
it's worthless.
It's yeah.
That's what I got to make that distinction. That's sort of the next weekend project. There's 4 more old boxes that go. I just found the box that had all the Celebration 3 stuff in it. Like we bought all that crap and kept every single piece of paper that anyone had. All that went in the garbage. But I kept the lightsabers, the little mini lightsabers, the car antenna toppers. Remember?
I remember those. Yeah.
I put they sold like 4 things. I put the Darth Vader on my F-150. It was the last car I had that actually had an antenna. The antenna was bent from the wind pushing it back. So anyway,
listen, you and I waited online 6-7 hours to get into that store. God. We were going to buy everything in sight.
I know, right? But so I'm really trying. There's definitely stuff I'm keeping, but that I'm not displaying. I did find a box of the 5-inch Star Trek figures that when I sold all the Star Trek figures
you
last 2 years ago, I didn't realize there were some in there. So I have I wish I should call the guy look, I need to give you these figures because you missed out on those.
I don't know. I have when they redid Indiana Jones, when Daryl was running the line, I have every one of those figures. There. I have all the 40th anniversary G.I. Joe box sets up in my attic.
I gave so much of that stuff away.
But other than that, it's not a lot of packaged toys. It's mostly empty boxes in my attic.
I have a lot of packaged toys.
I also have 3 boxes full of every figure they made for Revenge of the Sith, which Joshua says he wants.
So you keep buying stuff. You have stuff. You just bought stuff. You bought those Kenner
The retro
figures a year ago.
Yeah.
Where are those? Are those on display?
Right now they're in a box in my basement, open because I'm planning to photograph so I can sell them.
There you go. Yeah. But you know what I found? I found the Power of the Force 2 Millennium Falcon display carrying case with Wedge.
Oh, with Wedge, yeah.
In the box. It's not worth anything.
No.
I found the Rancor. I have a box Han and Tauntaun when they sold that 25 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Still in the box.
Do you have a Bantha?
I have not come across it, but I do have the Bantha.
If you have a Bantha, I'll take it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I think I have. I think I bought the Bantha and the Rancor, and I bought 3 or 4 of the Tauntauns.
Yeah.
I have 1 left in the box. I must have one loose.
Where the hell is I got a Tauntaun somewhere. I cannot think of where it is.
I have stuff that there is stuff up there that I came across. Like I bought these, not that they're collectibles. I bought these acrylic boxes at the Container Store 20 years ago that were great to put guns in, and I bought 4 of them. I only used 1. I have been looking for those for 10 years, and they were under a box behind the thing, and I finally found them. What I'm going to do with them now, I have no idea. But
there's some stuff that I have that is got no actual collectible value, but what do you do with it? Do you throw it away? I'm literally thinking about donating it to Toys for Tots, but it's 20, 30-year-old toys.
It's old. I put a box together of donating to, we have Green Drop near us. They take everything and they resell it.
Because I have Sergeant Savage figures on their card. I have G.I. Joe Extreme figures on card in boxes in my attic that I just don't want. I don't think I could sell them for anything. But do you just throw them away, or do you... If I donated them, what kid wants to play with those? They've never even heard of these toys.
You know what? Though they're generic action figures. Some kid will play with those. On the cut, they're not gonna care who it is or what it is. You
donate it to a Green Drop kind of thing. They sell them in the, in their Goodwill type store. That's fine. I mean, it's I don't like. I put a box together. I had, what I did. Remember when Don Levine did that Fireman
and the Policeman? Yeah.
I found the box. I have no idea where the thing is.
We used the pieces from that in Aesop. So we parted that out. I might have some of them. But
I threw that signed box away because what am I? Who wants it? Nobody wants it.
Yeah.
I have all of the 40th anniversary sets, but I have the first 4 all
me
signed
too.
by Don Levine. Yeah.
I may have sent one to somebody, but anyway. So there's a dilemma. I'm not throwing. I must have thrown a dozen broken bodies. Todd and I broke a lot of figures apart.
We did, and I will tell you though, a lot of them have broken on their own since then because the ball shrinks at a different rate. The waist ball shrinks at a different waist as the body, and so they separate. And every time I go into that box, I find like 2 or 3 that just have.
I must have more than you.
Spontaneously Darth Maul.
More here.
Oh, you know what?
So
though? I did a couple of Cozen shows that you didn't do. We did one together, and I did a couple after that, and I
sold all that.
I parted with a bunch of stuff. So
and then 1/6 scale vehicles. I have been thinking I'm going to sell those. I have a bunch of cars and stuff, and I found those. I knew where they were, but I took them out. They're so beat to hell. They're not even. I have like. Remember,
I've got the dune buggy, and I think I've got the dune buggy, and I think I've got the raft, the big plastic raft still.
Oh, I'm talking like the Barbie ones.
Oh, I know. Yeah, those.
The Miata, the red Porsche, the Ferrari,
the Mustang.
Remember the Mustang that I painted up black to be what's his name's. There's a Jeep. I don't know what they're not even sellable. I don't know what to do with those.
Yeah.
And there's a lot, and I have ATVs. Like, what do you do with that shit?
Yeah.
Part of me, you can't put stuff on Facebook and say it's free because then every jerk is coming in your house.
It is okay to throw old toys out. You would throw out if your kids had old toys that were beat up.
Plastic,
you'd throw them out.
Plastic in some cases. I mean, it's just.
First of all, there's a myth they do not recycle plastic. That's a whole nother story. I saw it on 60 Minutes. It's a myth that any plastic actually gets recycled. That's a whole nother deal. But I guess it's okay. I may just put it out for the
I'm just saying, it is okay. I know you bought it as a collectible, but it is okay to throw it in the garbage
those were
if it's
all
trashed.
bought as we used them. We used the hell out of those things, right?
We did.
I have 2 red Porsches. I don't know if one's yours or I have just bought 2.
Yes, one is my I don't want it.
All right, I'm sending. You know what? I feel bad. I've had yours for 10 years. I'm sending all of the cars to you.
And you should use the other cars as packing material.
Yep. Yep.
That's the thing. Those things, and then I have some 21st century stuff too. That like it could be worth something 10 years ago, but who cares?
Like the Kubel wagons and stuff like that.
Those I sold. I sold all that stuff.
We
would
got
buy
rid of
those
that
at
stuff a while
closeout.
back.
I sold those for decent money. I got my money for that stuff.
You still have a Little Bird helicopter?
I've sold a lot of those.
Yeah.
I remember buying them at closeouts.
Yep.
And I had like 3 in the box.
Oh,
those
there's a Little
I sold
Bird.
those
I got a
for
Little Bird somewhere here.
I don't have any Little
Those
Birds.
things,
I sold them all.
Just amazing that they were ever made at all. They were incredible pieces. But yeah, trying to find buyers.
What do you do with it now?
Yeah. I'm sure there are people that would
I'll
take
tell you,
those things.
you take that to, like, you go to one of John Cozen shows or something like that, or one of the, that you'd be able to sell those, but you'd have to be something somebody could walk away with. God, where the hell is that? I know I've got
you
one.
can't ship stuff that big anymore.
No,
I mean,
you can't.
I told you
I was
earlier,
shipping all that stuff. I
earlier
sold those
today
things years ago.
I have
a
a
lightsaber that I bought on May the 4th. They wanted to charge me $43 for shipping just for a lightsaber.
Talking about you turned this on to Pirate Ship. Those 2 35-pound boxes went to, I think, Virginia. So that's not super far. They were $23 a piece.
That's cheap.
Which is a bargain.
Yeah.
That's
and they were big,
unofficial
almost
sponsor,
like a 20,
Pirate
20,
Ship. Check it out.
Yeah. But anyway, that's this stuff that's the dilemma of collecting. It's like,
well, especially when you've been in it as long as we have, we've accumulated a lot of stuff over the 35, 40 years we've been collecting.
I mean, we bought a lot of stuff. You know what? And the funny thing I found, one of the first things I bought, like way back, way in the mid '90s, when I'm like, oh, my GI Joes, I have to. I'm breaking out my GI Joes from the Foot Locker, and I need clothes for them. And I bought like, what was that crappy line of clothes of 6 scale things with the red packages? What was the name of that? Soldiers of the World.
Soldiers of the World. Yep.
Yeah.
I found the 2 Soldiers of the World things. I'm like, those were like the first new things I bought since I was a kid. That was crap. But I remember a guy at a G.I. Joe show was like, oh, I love the Soldiers of the World. I buy everything they put out, and I keep it in a box, and I put it in my attic because someday I'm going to sell it. No, you're not.
Not unless he did it 25 years ago.
I will say, if you wanted to do like the equivalent of reenacting with 1/6 scale figures, they were good for that. You could make like a great D-Day diorama and stuff like that with those things.
Yeah, with a red coat thing with Velcro?
Yeah. Well, no, but you know what I'm saying. It's like you wanted background figures and stuff like that for dioramas. They were fine. But
this guy thought those were like the height of collecting.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, and I'll wrap this up, I had all my toys from when I was a kid. No one ever threw my stuff out. So, in turn, I have not thrown any of Mark's stuff out. I am literally organized, putting all his stuff on one side of the... He's got almost as much stuff as I have. There's 20 totes full of stuff. And I had no idea there was that much stuff up there.
We still have all of our kids, most of their toys. And
that's got to be dealt with.
Okay. Yeah. Tote box of Batman, tote box of Ninja Turtles, tote box of Gargoyles, 3 tote boxes of Jurassic Park. 3. Okay.
Well, and we've got all their Star Wars toys, which, trust me, they had a ton.
Yeah.
I got Star Wars and G.I. Joe.
Cars, the movie Cars. We have
There's
three
much
totes
stuff.
full of Cars
Evan's got a
toys.
bunch of G.I. Joes and yeah.
Yeah, my kids, believe it or not, don't really have a lot of G.I. Joe stuff. It was mostly Star Wars.
But I was shocked. I was shocked to see how many tote boxes of stuff he has. But anyway, so if you're a collector, you know the dilemma, but it's very cathartic to get rid of this stuff. Okay. Where are we?
We're 59 minutes.
Yes. I've been talking and talking. I saw The Fall Guy this weekend. I'll give 2 minutes on it. It's fun. Pam was like, "Oh, that's a movie I'd see," and I'm like, "Oh, good. I'm not forcing you to see something I want to see," but it was a fun movie. It's a good summer fun movie. I would go see it.
Okay.
That's he's good in it. She's good in it. It's funny. He drives as on his regular car. He drives the same car that Lee Majors drove. The brown and tan GMC pickup truck. Yes, and without spoiling anything, they're on a new movie set, and they're like, "Oh yeah, he's like, I need a car. Give me a car, production car. We have 2 of those special GMCs. Don't ruin them." And it's like the brand new 2025 GMC Sierra or whatever, that it looks exactly like the modern version of the truck and it's really cool. So, but it's a lot of fun. It's a little all over the place, but it's fun. It's big, epic action comedy.
Now, you were a fan of and watched The Fall Guy when it aired.
I don't think I've ever seen an episode.
Okay, because I was just going to say I never watched it.
Oh,
so
I totally
don't have
watched
any
it.
affinity for this.
Yeah,
I never. No. I know what it is. I've never watched it though. I mean, I like Lee Majors.
I've watched every show Lee Majors was in, and some of them were very bad. But I did watch The Fall Guy. There was. It was Heather Thomas. I was trying to think of which Heather was in. Yeah, it was Heather Thomas. A good reason to watch. It was fun. It was very formulaic. One thing that was interesting with that GMC pickup truck, if you ever have a chance to watch the pilot or the first episode, okay, the first episode, they're like the bad guys are coming after them, and he goes over, and in the cabin, behind the cabin, there's a swing out side panel in the back of the truck that, like the mobile sport vehicle, like you pull a drawer out and he's got all these guns and stuff. So he has this tool cabinet in the back of the pickup truck that's accessible from the side of the truck. So it's like built in. Never use that again. It was just the weirdest because it was like, no sense, I was like, oh my God, it's like the mobile support vehicle. Like the panel slides back and the drawer comes out.
Oh really? I maybe watched the pilot.
And it was it was cool. And it just like said that, and then they never ever did that again. So they had that for some reason.
I wonder if they made it like, we don't want this to be a gun thing.
And I remember, this is how I remember shit from this age. He pulled out Uzis and he handed one to his cousin and he took the other one.
That doesn't make sense.
And it's like, yeah, but I'll find that scene somewhere. I'll watch that at some point. Probably when it's on TV.
It was fun. It was good. It's a good, it's a big epic thing. I mean, that's the thing we were talking about the other day. Unfortunately, the big epic summer blockbusters opening weekend is $30 million. That's what the movie business is now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But
it's bad, but it's also like TV has improved so much, and there's so much good stuff on TV that it also makes sense. So, and they're spending a lot of money on TV. So
yeah, and they're not making money either.
Yeah,
streaming companies are just bleeding.
Yeah. So
yeah, I just don't understand I guess it's a name that maybe holds some recognition with people our age, but I don't think we're the target audience for the movie, so...
It doesn't have to, though. I think it plays both. You've heard of it, and either you like it or not like it, and you have a little recognition, or a kid who's 20 has no clue, and it doesn't matter. So it works on both ways.
Is this all, like, so you can get something greenlit, and so it's an easy elevator pitch to get something greenlit?
I don't know.
Because it seems to have no connection whatsoever. He's not Colt Seavers, right?
He is.
Oh, he is.
He is Colt Seavers. Oh, he is Colt Seavers. He is a stuntman.
And does he sing the theme song?
No, he doesn't. Oh, not that it's a spoiler. The main song of the movie is "I Was Made for Loving You" by Kiss, and they must play it 5 times throughout the thing, sung by different people.
You want to just wow. I tell you, if you haven't watched the show, you gotta go online. You gotta find the theme song and it's just I mean, he even name drops his
Farrah,
his ex-wife
Farrah
in that
Fawcett,
song.
yeah.
Well, they do play that at the end credits, not by him, and they change the words a little.
Okay.
But of course, at the Alamo, they played that a couple times.
Oh yeah, and I've been set on fire with Raquel Welch. Went fast with a girl named Bo. Oh yeah. No, it's epic. It's
so funny that he sung that, but it's fun. It's like you're looking to have just some fun at the movie theaters.
I'm
and
the
that
unknown
dude,
stuntman who makes Eastwood look so fine. Yep. So,
the dude who was Quicksilver is in it too.
yeah. And he's in everything. Wait a minute, which Quicksilver?
Oh, the
MCU
not
Quicksilver?
What's his face? The twins one, not
Okay.
John Peters or
Okay,
whatever his name is.
Yep.
And Glenn Powell's in it. No, he's not. Glenn Powell was in.
Glenn Powell.
There were 2 trailers, and Glenn Powell's in both of them. He's in everything these days. Twisters.
Yep.
I didn't love the first Twister. I'm not going to
Okay,
see
so let me just
second
ask
Twisters.
this. Is there too much Giancarlo Esposito?
He's in everything too.
Oh my
He's in
God.
everything too, but it feels a little more subtle. He's in this megalopolis or whatever.
Of course
that thing
he is. But it's like...
he's more subtle about it. He's not playing... This Glenn Powell had 2 starring movies that he's got coming out, like, at the same time, I guess. I don't know. But, whatever. But, anyway.
I think my favorite thing with Giancarlo Esposito was that kaleidoscope. I really do. If other than Breaking Bad, because he was different. He was at least a different character, you know. But he's yeah. That was my one thing with the gentleman was like, oh, okay.
He's barely in it.
Yeah,
He is
anybody
not
could have
the
played that
lead
role. That wasn't.
in a
That's
ton
what
of
I'm
stuff.
saying. I'm saying, why did you have to put him in there? Because he's got so much, like, you know, drug king baggage.
Okay, we were a little all over the place, but we covered a lot of topics.
Yeah.
So, let us know what you think of the Acolyte trailer, Bad Batch. If you've got Collecting Dilemma and don't know what to do and you're frozen, talk to us. We'll talk you through it. I think I felt like I've crossed the other side of the
Reach
of the
out
attic.
and we'll bring you on the show. We'll talk to you about it.
Yeah, for sure. Fall Guy, I say go see it. It's fun. But I feel like it was nice to see a movie that didn't have, like, oh my God, if Captain America doesn't do the right thing, you know, I had no stakes in this, and it was almost a little freeing to see something.
I will watch
like
it, but I'm not going out of my way to see it.
Yeah, that's fine. There you go.
So,
and
wait. I had a last thought.
Okay, I asked last week.
Okay, but you didn't ask this week. Okay. This past weekend, an actor named Bernard Hill passed away. Okay? He has a really interesting distinction. He was in Titanic, and he was in Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Okay?
I saw that.
Which means, do either of you guys know this? What distinction he had? He was the only living actor to have been in 2 films that won 11 Academy Awards. He was the only person in both films. Only 2 films have won 11 Academy Awards, and he was in both. So,
but he didn't win any of them.
He did not win any of them, but
but he was a part of it.
He was part of it. So
he was the captain on Titanic, right?
He was the captain on Titanic. Yep.
Yeah. He went down with the ship.
Yep. So, but yeah. Anyways, that was my last thought.
Godspeed. Yes.
Yeah. It's a good run. I think he was old.
He was old. He
was in his 90s, right?
No, 79. But
79?
79. So
no way.
He was 79.
79. The dude was in Titanic 23 years ago and looked like he was 79.
He did. I know.
It wasn't. That's called makeup, Dave.
That's a little young.
And you know, he was the king of Rohan. He looked really. Yeah, no, he was an old looking dude when he was young. But anyways,
now Paul Rudd is the guy they compare to old people. Like Paul Rudd's like 52, and they always show like Wilford Brimley, like they were doing Tom Cruise 15 years ago.
Yeah,
because Paul Rudd does not age.
And wait a minute, where's Wilford Brimley fit into this?
They used to always do the show Tom Cruise at 50 and Wilford Brimley at 50.
Okay, I get it.
And Tom Cruise looks like he's got his shirt off from that Jack's musical thing.
Yeah.
And Wilford Brimley looks like he's 90.
Yeah.
Try to take us home now, Dave.
just put a pin in it, Dave.
And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.